This is a coding agent reading your files, writing code, running terminal commands, and fixing its own mistakes on the second try. Nothing unusual about that, except for one thing. The Wi-Fi is off. There's no API key, no account, no cloud, and no bill waiting at the end of the month. It's building a full 3D aquarium right now on a laptop. And the person who set it up pays $200 a month for Claude Code. That's the pitch. Qwen 3.6, running locally through Ollama, wired into an open source agent that works like Claude Code but costs nothing. And the title says it's better. That's half true. Let me be honest about which half, because the honest half is the interesting one. Here's what actually happened. Alibaba shipped Qwen 3.6, and the part that got my attention isn't the model, it's what they released alongside it. Something called Qwen Code. It's an agentic coding harness. Think Claude Code, but open source. It reads your files, edits code, runs commands, and iterates on its own work. Not a chat window, an agent. So here's the plan. First, what this thing actually is, and whether it can build real software. Then, getting it running on your own machine tonight, including the one setting almost everybody gets wrong. And finally, the honest catch, because there's always one. Start with the frame, because it's the whole story. For years, the model was the moat. The best coding tools ran frontier models in the cloud, on racks of GPUs you could never afford, and you rented access by the month. Claude Code is that deal. It's a supercar you lease. It's fast, it's genuinely the best, and it costs real money for a reason. Qwen 3.6 is a different bargain entirely. It's a car that boots in your own garage and answers to nobody but you. The question is whether the car in the garage can actually drive. So I threw 3 real tasks at it, each harder than the last, and I ran the exact same prompts through Claude Code side by side. Task 1. Build a 3D aquarium as a single HTML file using Three.js. Glass tank, at least 5 fish swimming with animation, some coral, soft lighting, and let me rotate the camera with my mouse. Claude finished in 1 minute and 28 seconds, running frontier models on big cloud GPUs. Qwen, on my laptop, took longer. But it came back with 494 lines of clean HTML, a working tank, fish I could rotate around, exactly like I asked. And honestly, the fish were better. This is a local model, on my own machine, going toe-to-toe with a $200 a month cloud tool on the first try. That's the part that's wild. Task 2. A portfolio website for a UI designer, single HTML file. Claude took about 2 minutes and looked sharp. Qwen took closer to 10. But the output? Genuinely hard to tell apart. Claude had a slightly bigger, bolder font in the header. Everything else felt like a coin flip. And keep in mind, my Claude Code is loaded with skills and plugins I never installed on Qwen. Same lane, wildly different price tag. Task 3, and this is where I pushed it. Build me a macOS-style desktop environment as a single HTML file. Top menu bar with a clock, a dock, Windows, the works. Claude came back in 2.5 minutes with clickable app icons and working little apps. Qwen wrote almost 1,300 lines of code, and on first glance, it looked better. Real textured icons instead of flat placeholders. But then I clicked, and the icons didn't open. It nailed the look and fumbled the wiring. Getting there. Not there yet. Now, getting this running yourself, because it's easier than you'd think. Step 1, install Ollama. If you already have it, skip ahead. Step 2, pull the model. 1 command. Ollama run Qwen 3.6, and it downloads straight onto your disk. Step 3, install Qwen Code, the open source agent from the same Qwen team. Same idea as Claude Code, none of the bill. Then the one step that trips everybody up. By default, Qwen Code wants to phone a cloud API. You have to tell it to use your local model instead. That config lives in a file called settings.json. Base URL points to localhost, port 11434, which is Ollama. The model ID matches exactly what you pulled. And the API key? It's literally just the word Ollama, because Ollama doesn't check keys, but the SDK demands something in the box. And here is the #1 gotcha I see people hit, so write it down. Set your context window to 64K, because Ollama's default is only 4,096 tokens. 4,000. Your agent will start forgetting things mid-task, dropping files it read 2 steps ago, and you'll swear the model is broken. It's not broken. It's silently truncating your context. Fix that one setting, and the whole thing comes alive. Launch it, and you get the same cockpit as Claude Code. It'll ask for your API key, but that's just your local model talking to itself. Ask it what 2 + 2 is. Ask it to create a file, write to it, and read it back. Watch it plan, act, and check its own work. The agent loop is alive, and it's running on your hardware. Now the honest catch, because there absolutely is one, and a lot of channels stop right before this part. I use Claude Code every day. I pay for the $200 max plan, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you this replaces it. It doesn't. Claude Code runs frontier models on hardware you'll never own, and it's faster and sharper on the hardest tasks for a reason. Qwen is slower. It ran 10 minutes on jobs Claude did in 2. And on that macOS desktop, it face-planted on the part that mattered, the clicking. Let me be fair to Claude. On a genuinely complex, multi-file, whole repository task, the cloud model still wins, and it's not close. But that's not the fight that matters. Because there's a specific lane where free and local wins outright, and it's bigger than it sounds. Code you legally cannot send to the cloud. Prototyping and learning where you don't want a meter running on every keystroke. Quick scripts. And working offline on a plane with the Wi-Fi off, which is exactly where we started. In that lane, this isn't a demo you show off once. It's genuinely usable. It's free, it runs offline, and it only gets better. Step back and look at where we actually are. A year ago, local models were a novelty. You could get one running, but you wouldn't trust it with real agentic work. Then Qwen 3.5 landed, and the CTO of Hugging Face called it a before and after moment for open models. 3.6 is the next step up that same curve. And here's the whole thing in the numbers that stuck with me. $200 a month for the tool it's chasing. $0 for this one. Sizes from 2 billion parameters all the way to 122. So the 9 billion fits in 16 gigs of RAM and the 4 billion runs on 8. And 0 API keys forever. The Moat was never really the model. The Moat was that you had to rent it. Qwen 3.6 is a genuinely capable coding brain that boots on your own laptop, offline, and answers to no one but you. Imperfect, honest about its limits, and completely yours. So if a free coding agent this good could live on your machine tonight, fully offline, would you turn it loose in your own codebase? Tell me where you land in the comments. Subscribe if you want more of these, because that's the only thing I'm selling here, and I'll see you in the next one.